What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to check out a bike from Biktrix, the Biktrix Juggernaut Hub Duo. And it's a Juggernaut because this bike is a beast, Hub because of the hub motor, and Duo because you can rock 2 battery packs and have extended range. And I can't wait to show you all about this bike and show you the performance because this thing is so powerful. But before we do that, let's walk through some of the features. Let's check it out. All right, let's check out the Juggernaut. And first of all, I do want to mention this bike is here courtesy of Biktrix. I did not purchase the bike. They sent this to me so I could ride and test and just put some information out here on YouTube for all of you to use, maybe help you decide if this is the type of bike you're looking for. Now let's talk about the options you have with the Juggernaut bike. Biktrix has a whole lineup built all around this platform. You can get this bike in multiple different styles. So you can get a step through, you can get a step over, you can get a hub drive like this one, or you can get a mid-drive Juggernaut. And they have 2 options there. You can get a Juggernaut Ultra, which is a 1,000-watt mid-drive, or you can get a Juggernaut Classic, which is a 750 mid-drive. So once you pick your frame style and the motor style that you want, you can further customize the bike. They have a whole bunch of different customizations. Let me run you through them real fast. You can pick the frame size, 17-inch or 19-inch. You can pick the color of the bike, and it's not just a choice of 5. You can get any color under the rainbow. There's going to be an upcharge if you want a custom color, but you can select the wheel tire package. These are 27.5 by 3s, and you can also get 26 by 4 tires if you want the fatter tire. You could pick the headlight. I just got the normal 100 lumen light. You can get one they call the Armageddon light, which is 2,000 lumens. You can pick if you want the battery extender, like this one has, the additional battery pack on there. You can pick the brakes you want. If you want to upgrade those, you can pick a suspension seat post. There's a ton of ways to customize the bike for you. Biktrix is one of the only companies that does that, really. I mean, there's a handful of them out there where you can fully customize the bike before it's shipped to you. Most of these direct-to-consumer e-bikes are just, one size fits all. You order the bike and you get the same thing as everybody else got. I like that about their website where you can really tailor it to your specific needs. Now, the base price on this Juggernaut Hub Duo is $23.99. So they've got great customization options on the website. And another thing I want to point out about Biktrix is their shipping. They airship the bikes. So this thing was not riding on the back of a FedEx truck across the entire country. Well, actually from Canada, because they're based in Canada. So it saves damage on the shipping. They airship it. It's on a plane to the city closest to you and then on a truck out for a delivery. So less chance of damage during shipping. This thing arrived perfect. The box looked perfect. The pedals weren't sticking out through the side of the box like I see on some. And it was double boxed. Double boxed. I rarely, if ever, see companies double box an e-bike. So I like that they take the time and effort to make sure this thing's packaged well, because think about it. If you're going to spend $2 to $3 grand on a bike, you want that thing to arrive in perfect condition. So kudos to them for getting their shipping dialed in. The setup's pretty easy on this bike. I mean, all you have to really attach is the handlebars, the front wheel, you got to put that on, and then also the front fender and the headlight assembly. You got to put that together, which is not very hard at all, and then you spin on the pedals and you're pretty much done and ready to ride after you charge the battery. The rear rack was already attached. There's really minimal setup on this bike to get up and running. All right, now let's play a little game of I'll tell you the features of the bike, and then I'll also tell you what I think you might need to know about it. So the first thing is the wheel and tire package. Again, you can get it in multiple different combinations. This is the 27.5 by 3.0 tire package. You can also get 26 by 4. What I can tell you here is that it felt really nimble. Maybe that's because they were slightly narrower. It still looks like a fat tire though. They might have been slightly quieter because they weren't quite as wide. And then I still felt comfortable crossing pretty much any terrain on this. Even though it was a little bit skinnier, it's still a pretty fat tire. So you still have that confidence of just being able to run over like anything. So I was happy with the wheel and tire package. It's not any taller. I told my dad this wheel size and he's like, oh, that's gonna be really tall. No, it's the same height as a 26 by 4. From the ground to the top of the tires, about 28 and a half, 29 inches. So it's not any taller than the 26-inch wheel. So don't worry about that height at all. This is the large frame size, I believe. I think this is a 19-inch frame, so it's the bigger frame size. I don't have any issue with it though, being 6 feet tall. If we spin over here, I'll show you the brakes. So they're hydraulic brakes, of course. 180 millimeter disc. It does also a quick release front wheel on it. Things to know about the brakes, not much there. I mean, they were great. I had no problem with the braking on the bike. You can also select upgraded brakes at checkout if you want a different, more powerful braking system on this bike. For front suspension, you got the RST guide forks. I like those. Those are some of my favorite. Of course, they have preload and lockout adjustments here on the top, so no issue with the forks at all. Great fork. The fenders and rear rack are included in the purchase price, and the fenders are metal. You can see this one's got some dings on it, and they do some touch-up paint to correct that. This is a demo bike, guys. This was a demo. This wasn't brand spanking new. This was off their showroom floor that had been ridden, had a few miles on it, and they were allowing customers to test on it. So the demo bike had a little bit of scrapes on it. And that's one thing I'll point out about metal fenders, is that they're not as forgiving as the plastic. If you dent these, if you scratch them, scrape them, they get mangled up somehow, they're a little bit, it's gonna show, more so than plastic. Plastic's gonna bounce back a little bit. These are also a little bit louder when the cinders and the stones kick up into them. But I mean, they look nice. This one, I might pull it off there and just repaint the whole thing just to take care of these scuff marks. But you get metal fenders and the rack included. The rack is huge. This rack is so long. And I kind of want to point this out because if you get the step over version and you have to swing your leg around or over this rear rack, it's longer than normal. I checked it compared to a bunch of other rear racks I had. This thing was a good like 4 inches longer than the other ones. I think it's from the back of the seat to the end of the rack was almost like 22 inches long, I think. So it's a really long rear rack. You got a lot of space on there for bags and side bags if you want those. The headlight, I did not test at night. I didn't do any nighttime riding on this bike yet. This is the 100 lumen headlight, and there is an upgrade available. You can get their Armageddon light, which is 2,000 lumens. If you want to do some serious, off-road nighttime riding, that would be the headlight to get. But it does come standard with this headlight, and then also has a taillight and brake light combo here at the back of the rack. But let's move up to the handlebars. Check those out. Really wide, flat handlebars. It felt like I had great control over the front end of this bike. Rubber grips and trigger shifters. Rapid fire trigger shifters here. 9-speed bike. These are my favorite. I don't like the thumb one as much. I like those a lot better. It's an adjustable handlebar stem. You can see I got my little toolkit Velcroed on there. I always carry that with me when I got a new bike in case something loosens up on me, but nothing loosened up. Adjustable handlebar stem here. I have it positioned really tall, pretty much as tall as you can get it. I like to be really upright when I ride, and this gives you that ride position. It's really comfy. Your handlebars are nice and tall. The seat's comfy. I love the ride position on this bike. It was great for me at 6 feet tall. My wife, however, at 5'3", she really couldn't even get on this bike. The seat height is like 34.5 inches. She's just not comfortable on a bigger bike. She wants to have her feet flat on the ground. So, 5'3", she couldn't really do that. So she didn't get a chance to ride this bike. Now, being that they use the trigger shifters, a lot of times they'll put a left-hand thumb throttle on the bike, so it's not in the way here. And that's what you've got here. Left-hand thumb throttle on this bike. I'll probably end up changing out to twist throttle because I was a motorcyclist before I was ever an e-biker, so I want a right-hand twist throttle. I gotta have it. So I'll probably swap it out. Easy change, but this comes with the left thumb and then your display screen right here. So you got plus and minus for your pedal assist levels there, and then the power buttons underneath here. So we turn that on, if you can see in the sun. I think this is a Bafang 500C display. I don't know if I get a shot of it for you, but this thing is just chock full of information. There's everything on this screen. Your battery voltage, and also like a battery power meter, your watt meter, your pedal assist, and your speed, and odometers, and I mean, there's just everything. I've never seen so much information crammed into such a small little screen. I like the display. It's off to the side, out of the way, doesn't take up much room. You can read the speed really easily, and that's all you really need. If you're of advanced years maybe, or have bad eyes, maybe it's a little too small, I don't know, but I like the display screen. It doesn't take up much real estate on the bars. You can put other stuff up there, and it gives you everything you need. Actually, more information than you really need. Now let's talk about battery capacity on this bike. The Juggernaut bikes start with this frame integrated 52 volt 17.5 amp hour battery pack. It just kind of releases and drops out the front here, and then they all have the option where you can get the range extender and have another battery pack that's mounted on the frame here. Now you can buy that when you buy the bike, and it just probably comes pre-installed, or if you bought the bike and then 3 months later you decide you want the range extender, you can just go ahead and buy that piece aftermarket and attach it yourself. It's literally plug and play. They all have a port. All the Juggernaut bikes come with a port right here, and that's where you plug the extra battery pack in. So they give you a battery, and the battery cradle that it mounts to the frame, and there's a wire that comes down here, and you just plug it right in, boom, you're done. So if you can plug a plug in and do like 4 Allen bolts right here for the battery cradle, you can add that extra battery capacity. Super simple. There's no, you know, soldering up battery connections or anything. You can add additional capacity very easily. You can get multiple different sizes of batteries too. This is, I think they offer anything from 13 amp hour battery packs to like 19. So you could get up to 36.5 amp hours of battery pack on one of these bikes. That's a lot. This one, that's a 14 amp hour, I think. So I'm at like 31.5 amp hours. I'm gonna do a whole separate range test because I'm kind of curious how far that is gonna go. How far can it carry me? So I'll do a whole separate range test video. I haven't done that piece yet. Now I kind of want to spin this bike around into the sunlight really quick. All right, there we go. I wanted you to have a better look at this port right here. It's really easy to disconnect. You just spin this ring and unplug there. But what I want to point out is the wire. So you got the wire that comes down out of the cradle and across your step through. You can see I put a piece of tape on it just to hold it down, because when I got it, there was a big loop right here of wire, and I didn't want to catch it with my foot as I'm stepping through to get on the bike. So I kind of taped that down. I wish this setup was a little bit different. I kind of feel like this plug should be turned 90 degrees this way. So the wire comes out there and it could run right along here and up into the cradle. I think that would be I don't know if I could unscrew that and turn that port so I could turn this plug. I don't know. It's kind of difficult to figure out where you would put a plug to make it this easy. It's really, I love that it's this easy to add an additional battery pack. There's not many bikes like that. That's super easy. I wish this wire wasn't hanging out in your step through as much as it is. But minor grievance. So you can see I kind of taped it down really quick. I might find a little better way to secure this, to hold it down. We'll see what I come up with. But I guess that was my only complaint there, just where the wire attaches to the bike. And inside this box here is where your controller hides. This bike has fantastic power. And I emailed them and said, hey, I'm shocked that this is only a 750 watt bike. Where does this power come from? Is it the controller? And they said, yeah, it's got a pretty strong controller. Some people see it peak anywhere from 20 to 30 amps on the controller. I'm like, holy cow. So I opened this up and I looked inside to see what controller was in there. It was a 15 amp continuous, 30 amp peak controller. So there's your power. 52 volt system and a 30 amp peak on the controller. That's why this thing is so strong. Some of the best power I've ever felt on a 750 bike. If someone asks me, you know, I want a powerful 750 watt e-bike for climbing hills, my answer from now on is going to be Biktrix Juggernaut. All right, what other specs can I tell you? It's got a torque sensor, not a cadence for the pedal assist. It is a torque sensor, so the bike keeps track of how much pressure you're applying to the pedals. It works fantastic. I didn't have any problems there. Front chainring, I'll put the sizes on. I know it's 1134 on the back, I believe, and it's a Shimano Alivio, which I believe is a slight upgrade from like Tourney or Altus. So a little bit better shifter. It pops into gear real quick. You punch the button and it pops right into gear. It shifts really well. The step through height from ground to right here, I believe is about 18 inches. The minimum seat height was 34.5 inches. The weight of the bike, it weighs a lot less than I thought it was going to. I'll put it on the screen. I can't remember the exact number, but I was kind of shocked to see how light it was. I think it was like 85 pounds or something with the extra battery pack on it. I've had multiple bikes recently that were over 90 pounds, and here I've got one with 2 battery packs on it, and it weighs less than that. So I was pleasantly surprised with how relatively light this bike is for what's on it, really. And this seat was super comfortable too. It's got these big springs in the back. A lot of times they have like the nylon springs that, yeah, it's a spring-loaded seat, but they don't even like squish it all. This one, it actually squishes and functions. So it's a nice wide flat seat. I really like the seat a lot. I would consider buying one of those to put on some of my other bikes. And then of course, hiding in the rear wheel, your 750 watt rear hub motor. And this thing's really powerful. I'm kind of anxious to show you all the performance footage. So let's take a look. All right, let's start things off with a top speed run, throttle only. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I do not have fully charged batteries, so see how far it goes. 24, 25, about 25 and a half. when they were fully charged, I saw it go about 26.5 was the top speed. I did set the speed limit to the max. It's set at like 99, so you're gonna get about 25, 26 miles per hour throttle only out of this bike as a top speed. What else? What else about the Juggernaut? It feels like really, really nimble for a fat tire bike. I guess that's maybe a combination of the wide, flat handlebars and the tire that's a little bit skinnier. But oh, there's a rabbit. It feels real, like you can really carve things. Everything I'm doing on the handlebars feels like a direct input into the front wheel. I like that feeling. A lot of times I can steer kind of heavy, the fat tire bikes. This one doesn't do that at all. It feels really nimble. The freewheel, is it me or is that loud? The freewheel buzz sounds louder than normal. I don't know. And there's a buzz in the taillight too. If I can do it, ready? Listen. Right there at like 11 or 12 miles an hour. That's the taillight buzzing. It's really loud. Believe it or not, that's super common. I get that all the time on bikes. It's that style of taillight. I think it's the little circuit board inside the taillight that vibrates, because the light is secure on the rack. So that's what the buzzing noise is that you hear. What else about this bike? The torque sensor feels great. I've had all kinds of different torque sensors on bikes. This one, I'm going to put it in pedal assist 5. Okay, there we go. And if you just rotate the pedals, nothing happens, which is, I think, how it should be. And then when you push, then you get the power. So it's very intuitive. The harder you push, the more power the torque sensor gives you. Perfect. Seems to function perfectly. I like torque sensors better than cadence. The ride position on this thing is really comfortable. I've got the handlebars up as high as they'll go, and I'm a really upright ride position right now. I love that. So comfort's there. If I go into the bumpy edge of the path here, I mean, the seat is great. The seat's wide and flat, and the springs actually squish instead of the nylon ones. So it feels really good. I don't really miss the rear suspension all that much. It would be nice if it had it, but I don't even feel like I need a suspension seat post at all. I mean, it absorbs everything. The seat's really nice. I like that about it. What else about the ride experience here? I mean, it's got great power. It really kicks in fast. Look at this thing go. Power on this bike is crazy. Same with the throttle. Like, the throttle's really punchy. When you hit the throttle, it kicks in. Even when you're rolling at 13, you hit it, you hear it and you feel it kick in. Great strong power delivery on this bike. Really, really strong. I like the power. I like when bikes are powerful. I like this bike. I like this bike. It just has a lot of get up and go. Just cruising along and then hit the pedals, like, takes right off. Holy cow. Woo. Now we're coming up the hill climb. Here's our hill climb test. Now, this is a 750 watt motor. I test all the 750s right here, and they climb this hill at 22 seconds. Those are the fastest bikes. Some of them it takes longer, like 28, 30 seconds. But the quickest ones will do it in 22 flat. This bike's gonna beat that. This bike is definitely gonna beat that time. Let's see how fast it does it. I'm at 56.9 volts. So yeah, I don't have fully charged batteries, but I still think it's gonna crush it. 3, 2, 1, go. Pretty good takeoff. It's out of the gate pretty quick. Wow, that taillight is buzzing. Whew. Strong, very strong. This thing's killing it. And time. Wow. Strong. Really, that thing didn't skip a beat. Holy cow. That has to be a record. I don't know. I'll check in editing. I don't know how fast that was, but I feel like it was a few seconds faster than normal. 19, 20 seconds maybe? It's got to be a new record holder. This thing is strong. All right, let's give you a throttle only 0 to 20. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And there. It's pretty quick. We'll tear through this field here. Yeah, suspension's fine. I mean, it's soaking up stuff pretty good. No full suspension needed. All right, now for the real test. This is the spot where I make these bikes fail. This is a short, steep little hill, grass hill. It's about 25% grade, and almost every single 750 bike fails here. I've only had one bike ever that made this. That was a 750. And technically that bike was a dual motor bike, and I just put it in rear wheel, but it still made it by the skin of its teeth. Barely. So this is the killer. This tests the torque of the motor. Very rare. One out of, how many bikes I've been on? I don't even know how many 750 bikes. 30? 1 out of 30's made it. And it barely made it. So let's see if this bike can do it. I think it's gonna do it. I think it's gonna do it. I'm not even at a full charge, but I don't care. I still think it'll do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah. Made it. I mean, perfect. If I had a full charge, I think it would have made it even easier than that. But that was pretty simple. That was pretty easy for this bike. That was pretty darn easy. Let's do it. I want to do it again. Let's do it again. I can't believe how strong this is. It's very, very impressive, the strength of this bike. Gosh. Up this little hill, throttle only, a 750. Wow. I wish I had a full battery charge to see how easy this would be for it. We're at 56.3 volts. There you go. That one felt easier than the last one. Wow. God, this thing's... All right, yeah, I mean, you hear it in my voice. I'm impressed with the power here. This is the new king of 750 watt bikes right here. Holy cow. Whew. And I mean, you can get them stronger too. If you go get the mid drive, it would probably be even easier to do that hill with a 1,000 watt mid drive. This is just a hub motor. Let's see how muddy it is out here. How muddy is this? I'll determine how far I go. It doesn't look bad. Let's cruise through this. We'll just cruise on up. It's mostly throttle through here. A little bit of off-roading. I will say that I have had a couple of the pedal strikes on this bike. I don't know if the pedals are slightly lower to the ground or not, but I did hit my toes a few times. I don't probably ride with my foot positioned on the pedal like you're supposed to. I'm not a cyclist at all. I'm an e-biker. Oh, it's just killing this. But yeah, I mean, kind of an all-arounder. Carves up the streets for sure. Definitely carves up city streets. You can off-road it. The tires were plenty fat to do that. No problem getting through the squishy mud there. But let's try to keep up with some traffic here. I'll let this guy go ahead of us. He's gonna stop and then go. All right, we're keeping up to 25. Kind of feel the motor kick out around 25. Oh yeah, this thing will keep up in town easy. Look at this. Yeah, but about 26 it just cuts out on you. It's also like really stable. I mean, I can't always do this with bikes. It feels like it's locked on. Because I'm even pedaling with the torque sensor, like still jolting me in it. And it's just, I don't need to hold the handlebars. All right, well, as you can see, super powerful bike. I was kind of shocked that this was only a 750 watt e-bike. It feels a lot stronger than that. I love the power. Power was great on this bike. Other things I really love about it, the comfort was very comfortable to ride. Love the seat, love the ride position, the options that they give you so many options to pick from on the website. The range is probably gonna be really long. We'll find that out. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do the range test. It would be full power or pedaling or what, but I bet it's gonna have a really great range. So those are all, I think, my loves of the bike. The dislikes, minor things like the wire across the step through when you get the range extender. What else? The kickstand. The kickstand's in the center of the bike. So when you back it up with the kickstand down, the pedals will eventually hit the kickstand. Minor annoyance, right? The vibrating taillight, minor thing. What else? I'm trying to nitpick here and find the little things that I can point out to you. The thumb throttle, I'm not a thumb throttle, I'm a twist throttle guy, so I would change that. Other than that though, I don't really have a lot of complaints about this bike. Solid offering, and hoping that I answered a lot of your questions. If I missed something, just put it in the comments. I'll do my best to answer it if I can. I'm happy to come out and take a measurement or answer a question for you. And I hope you found this helpful and it makes your e-bike choice a little bit easier. I know it's hard out there with so many options. Thank you to Biktrix for allowing me a chance to test ride this bike and share all this info with all of you. If you like information like this, consider hitting subscribe and coming back for more. Talk to you later. Thanks.